mind.
And I think it's working. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Is it working?
Yeah, it's popped. It's going. We're live.
Wait, is it working?
Yeah, it's live according to my thing.
It's work. Wait, are we live? Is it working?
Yes, it's working.
How like one of the most creepy intros ever. It's just like, hello there. Welcome.
Oh, yes, Dorian is, but we love him.
And then Dorian sent me some creepy sex thing right before this.
Hey, that's personal, man.
How does this not surprise me?
Dorian, you're into some weird shit. I'm just going to tell you right now.
What can I say? It's a Canadian thing, so.
Oh, it's a Canadian thing, huh? I thought that was just you.
We're stuck in our igloos like 8 months of the year, so.
Stuck in your igloos. those crazy Canadian igloos.
There we go. I didn't know you lived in an igloo, man. You get great internet over there, apparently.
Oh, it's like we have one giant internet line throughout Canada. It goes from east to west, and we just plug into it. So
nice.
No.
Now, is your igloo a single igloo, or is it a duplexing igloo?
It's kind of a duplex. I've got my neighbors above me, so it's like one big sheet of ice.
So is that called a dig glue or a do glue?
A
digaloo.
A digaloo.
A digaloo.
Patent pending.
And then if you have a triplex, it's a riggedy diggity do.
Oh, it's gonna get loud for a second. Hold on.
Yeah.
Pause. Stupid video. Pause.
Whatever those.
I'm ready.
What is it? Those Australian instrument called a digger.
Didgeridoo. Didgeridoo.
Didgeridoo.
Okay. Never mind. It's not going to get loud. I fixed the problem already.
Yay. And it looks like we got Robert Redmond, Kawaii Switch. Hello. How's it going, everybody? And Travis. Hey, Travis. Sorry, we started a little late.
That was my bad.
It's all Loki's fault. Loki wanted to bitch about the Colonel Kaepernick or whatever it is thing that's going on.
That's stupid. Take a knee bull. People are going to do what they're going to do.
You pay me. You pay me 7 digits. I'll fucking lie on the field. I don't give a fuck. I'll do whatever. That guy makes so much money.
Can those 7 digits be Canadian?
Huh?
How about 7 digits in whatever the Venezuela currency is? Will you do that?
Yeah, really. Venezuelan athletes don't make probably near as much as that. They probably don't even make the same amount the water boy makes. The 49ers.
Is the Venezuela currency still less than the World of Warcraft gold? Do you know?
Really?
I think so.
How the hell did you figure that out?
What was it? Because you can actually purchase gold from Blizzard themselves in World of Warcraft. So they found out that you'd be paying more, you'd be getting more for your dollar for in-game currency than you would for the Venezuela currency. So,
you know how you can make money is you take American currency and you convert it over to Japanese yen. And then you take Japanese yen, you convert it to Venezuelan, and then Venezuelan over to World of Warcraft, and then convert that to Bitcoin. You make money.
Oh, that would be a lot of steps. I'm gonna have to hire some Venezuelans to help me out with that. So,
What was that one? There was one online game. I think it was Ultima Online, where people were actually trading like world stuff for actual cash. Did you ever hear about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So people were selling like, you know, castles and swords and armor and stuff like that for real money.
All right, so we have a comment in our section here. Is there a topic for today?
That's a good question. So we do have an announcement, though, other than a topic. And I'll let Logan do the announcement because I suck with words today.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the announcement is, and we had a discussion last week, and we were thinking about, you know, just taking a poll about what we think about the channel, where it's going, and what things we thought we could do to improve the channel, to do various things. And the common theme was to get more guests. And so we want to get more guests on the show. So if you want to be a guest on the show, please contact us and let us know. You can even say in the comments, and I'll take a note of it right now. Or you can contact one of us offline. And what we'll do is we'll schedule people out. And when you come on the show, you just basically you sit here and bullshit with us for a while, and then we'll watch videos together and pause the videos and comment on them, and, you know, like we usually do on this show. But we do definitely want to get more guests on the show. So that's the announcement.
Yep, we want to see your guys' pretty faces up here with ours.
Or even your ugly faces. We're not, we don't care.
We're not biased.
Yes, we're not biased.
So a topic or theme. Well, it is October, but I know we still have a few, at least one video left in the queue, and then one that Dorian sent.
Oh, the one I sent is classic. It is a early 1980s police training video for how to recognize Satanism and satanic cults. So it is gold. It is beautiful.
You know what? I don't know. What do you guys think about this? How about we go ahead and put whatever we have in the queue on hold, and we actually watch that video for like the whole month of October? Because what is it, like an hour long or something?
Oh yeah, it's a wonderful little video. Let me just double check. It is 1 hour and 13 minutes.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about that?
Oh yeah, we'll do that. Okay. It sounds like pure gold. Yeah. I'm loading the video right now. So
I was watching a little bit of that, and I was like, because well, when we get to, I'll say it, but yeah, it's hilarious.
And I actually have a few of them too. I have at least 2 more about the whole satanic panic videos. So
awesome.
And I'm going to open this on Firefox so I don't have to deal with ads. Yes, I have an ad blocker on my Firefox. I'm a horrible, horrible person. I know.
As long as you don't use them on my videos, it's okay.
No, I don't use them on your guys' videos. For certain people, I have it turned off.
Oh,
yeah. I'll go up there and well, I can go up there onto my browser and just turn it off. So.
Well, you know, I'm going to be having an announcement on my channel, but several of my channels have been deemed unworthy or not advertiser friendly. So I'm giving up on the whole advertisement thing. And so I'm just going to make all of my videos incredibly offensive and actually, no, I'm not going to make them that way, but I'm not going to restrict myself. So I'm going to be including a lot more content than I usually do.
Would you like to borrow my Make America Great Again hat?
I'm gonna rip that off your head and tell them that you're committing genocide against my people by wearing that hat. Did you hear about that?
You have people now.
Did you hear about that, Dorian?
About which one? Sorry.
There was this assembly going on with these students, and one guy was wearing a "Make America Great Again" shirt, and this lady comes up, takes it off of his head, and runs to the student union or whatever, and goes there and says, "Why are you allowing this guy to wear this hat?" Meanwhile, he's like chasing along, like, "Hey, why are you stealing my hat? Give me back my fucking hat." And the lady's like going on about, "This hat represents genocide against my people." She's making all these outlandish accusations. And I'm just like sitting there watching the video going, what the fuck is she talking about?
That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
I tell you, it's absolutely insane the way that, I mean, I don't care. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Trump supporter. But the way we treat people who are Trump supporters, it's like we treat them like they're fucking, like they're witches. You know, we're just like, burn them at the stake. It's ridiculous.
The one thing that pisses people off is I'm not a Trump supporter. I don't care about your guys' political system down there. I just have this because it bugs people. That is the honest to God reason. It's just like, I'll have my rainbow shirt and I'll have a Trump hat on being like, well, what's it going to be today? So
you damn Canadians up there causing problems in your igloo.
With our fake American Twitter accounts just to piss people off. So
drinking maple syrup and playing hockey.
Only a little bit.
Blowing up our White House. How dare you?
I love you guys. Oh, dear God. Life would suck without you two.
I don't know. Don't try it till you knock it. Don't knock it till you try it. That's what I meant.
Well, we're on episode, what, 42? I mean, we've been doing this for 42 different Sundays.
Wow, 42 weeks. I wonder when we started this, when our 1-year anniversary is.
I don't know. It
should be coming up because there's 52 weeks in a year.
Yeah.
We got 10 more episodes.
Then we have been officially doing this for a whole year. What the hell is wrong with us?
I don't know. We're gluttons for punishment.
I suppose.
So Ray says that Dorian is an excellent troll. Hashtag free Kekistan.
Dorian is the troll of the year.
Yep.
Well, at least I have boundaries though. Like, I'll do it just enough to bug people, but not enough to like totally insult them or cause them to freak out. So.
Well, the funniest thing about trolling, in my opinion, is how people allow themselves to get so upset. You have 100% control of how you react to every situation. And if somebody is trolling you and you get upset about that, you're allowing yourself to do that. So can't blame anybody for it.
Dear Lord, all these suggested videos after this video that's on the side. Satanic, exploring the satanic web, 1990. Rock This, Your Division, 1982 VHS Christianity.
Put those in the watch later. Just
In the Name of Satan, 1999.
Yeah.
Put those in the watch later folder.
Oh.
That way we'll have content for quite a while.
Watch later.
All right, so I got some information. On the Heathen Haven channel itself, it starts off at episode 4.
It starts?
I'm not sure episode 1. It starts off at episode 4. So episode 1 to 3 might be on someone else's channel. But it's from November 27th.
That's weird. We started at episode 4?
Yeah, because we were going between your channel, Matt's channel, and my channel.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, okay. So should we celebrate we should probably celebrate the dawn of Heathen Haven. So we should probably celebrate the first of that. So it would be 52 weeks plus 4. So at the 56th week, that would be the 1-year anniversary.
Yeah. So I put them in the watch later folder, but it went to my watch later folder. I'll just transfer them over later.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, I thought, aren't you logged in as Heathen Haven?
I am on Chrome, but on Firefox, which actually runs faster for me when it comes to the chat and the videos, is logged in under Loki. So.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as long as you remember to put them in there.
Oh yeah, I can transfer that over later on. So I'm high on so much caffeine and whatever is in this liquid sour stuff that I'm gonna be good tonight. That and I kind of slept until 4 o'clock. So Loki decided to be lazy today. Alrighty. We'll start off this madness.
All right. I'm going to go invisible. There we go.
Oh, I should do that too.
Present to everyone so you can see my glorious background on my stupid computer. Okay, my frame. And of course, you have the normal warning. Oh, gun violence video category, whatever that is supposed to be.
And it looks like it's muted on my end.
Oh, I haven't hit play yet.
Okay.
Can you hear it okay?
Yeah, the mute.
Oh, this will make you laugh.
Due to the graphic nature of this program, viewer discretion is advised.
All right, everybody take it.
If you're under the age of 12, ask your mom.
Yep. We're not responsible for any nightmares you have. Satanic cults.
It has to be different font every time.
For many years, I served as a law enforcement officer.
I like how he's a
Today,
cop
it's my
and a
privilege to
pastor.
host this program on a little-known area in law enforcement, but important to every small community and every large city across our vast country. It's the
Okay, why did it pause?
area of satanic cults and how they impact our families, our children, and our communities. In satanic occultism, that which is good is bad, and that which is bad is good.
Except
And
for
as you
that sweater,
view
which
this,
is bad.
Yeah, that sweater is just that. He's wearing the pink shirt underneath, which bravo, dude, for wearing pink at your age. But the sweater, did his grandma knit it or something, or his wife?
I don't know. But if he catches criminals, he just throws that sweater on them, and they're rendered immobile.
Yeah, I can see it. And is it just me, or is he staring into the sun so he's Mr. Squinty? I can't see his eyeballs. I see glasses and then like a slit. So is he trying the whole squinty eye thing again?
Something.
But at least you're not the only one. At least he's embracing his hair loss.
Yes. And this,
Oh, don't worry,
and this
this
gets filmed in San Francisco too.
Oh my.
Don't worry, there's going to be a guy in here that's going to have enough hair for both Hellbound and this guy, so.
Probably.
learning and educational tape, pay attention and notice the reverse of everything that is normal becoming abnormal. There are many crimes that are unsolved in our cities, and many of those crimes have ritualistic overtones, but they're hard to find, and it's difficult to find the depth of where these things go and who may have done them. And so today we hope to be able to shed some light on a dark, dark area, an area that has been taboo for so many years, that is also protected by the United States Constitution, the freedom of religion. That's why it's very difficult for us as law enforcement officers to really investigate. But the question really is,
How
where
would
the
it make it
freedom
difficult
ends
to invest?
and our responsibilities
All right,
begin?
pause a second. How would that?
Got it.
How would the fact that people of one of you guys missing your headset? I hear echo.
I have my headset on.
Let me see. Let me check my settings real quick. Maybe that was me.
Oh my God. Ray says a point. This guy looks like what Ned Flanders would when he retires.
Okay.
Okay, that might have been me at that, Dorian. But anyhow, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So how would freedom of religion interfere with the police officer's ability to investigate a crime?
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, even people who there was a case that happened in New York City where somebody was butchering animals in his apartment, and there was this case where he was going to be evicted or whatever, and he claimed that he was practicing his religious beliefs because he practiced Voodoo, and Voodoo, they would butcher animals during the ritual, and they won that case, but that it didn't interfere with the ability to conduct an investigation into it. It's just that that's one of the things you have to take in consideration. Like, oh, okay, this person's not just butchering animals to be doing it. It's actually part of a religious practice. Or, for example, a kosher person, doing, what do you call it? Making sure that an animal is kosher when it's being butchered. So none of these things have anything to do with investigating crimes. It's just that it's one of the things you have to take into consideration. But it's not going to prevent you from investigating a crime.
No, and it shouldn't.
Yeah. So let me know if you hear an echo, Dorian.
Okay.
For our community. Satanic cults and their various offshoots exist throughout the world. However, a difficulty immediately arises with the word cult. Many cults fall under the protection of the United States Constitution, the freedom of religion. When we talk of cults and Satanism from a law enforcement perspective, we have to tread lightly. That is one of the reasons it is so difficult to investigate satanic cult activities. We know what the satanic cult professes to believe. We know what their potential for violence might be if they choose to be true to their belief. We even have evidence, here and there, that leads us to believe that some sort of rituals are taking place. However, unless we catch them actually breaking the law, or find evidence that leads directly to participants in some illegal activity, we have no case.
Hold on, pause for a second. Yeah, but that's true of anybody. Anybody who you can't prosecute them until they have committed a crime. We don't have thought police running around. Oh, that guy's thinking of committing a crime, let's arrest him now. It's like, yes, crimes have to happen, and then you can seek, you have to have a crime first, or somebody has to be, accused of committing the crime, and then you can investigate it. But that's true of anybody. It doesn't matter if they're a Satanist or in a cult or not in a cult.
Yeah, it's like, yes, let's arrest this person for thinking about being satanic. That's kind of what he's suggesting. And yes, there's still a bit of an echo.
I don't know on my end. Nope, on my end, it should be.
Yeah, because my end is just a blue snowball and a standard headset.
And I have my mic, and my normal mic set is only the headphone plugged in.
Well, I'll mute myself. Let me know if there's still an echo.
Hello. No, there's no echo when you mute. I'm sorry. I guess it just hates you tonight. But we love you. But you're absolutely right. Why would it make it? Why would any crime be different just because? Oh, there's Satanism. Oh, they're satanic. Therefore, they have to be thinking of committing a crime, or they already have, even if they haven't. So,
Robert has the best 90s cop motto: guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah, pretty much. Do you have anything else to say, Logan, before I hit play again?
I think we scared him away. He's like in the corner now. He's just like, why?
No. I was just lowering my mic sensitivity. So can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay. Do you hear an echo?
Very faintly in the back, but it's not that bad.
Okay. Well, that's all right. I'll just keep myself muted till I talk anyway.
Okay.
The problem involved with the cult explosion is becoming a many-faceted puzzle confronting law enforcement today. Not only is it difficult for us to understand the secret practices of satanic worship, but there are deeper reasons that go beyond mere lust for power and the unlimited drugs and deviant sexual behavior that go with it. Unfortunately,
Damn, Satanism sounds
police
good.
investigator attempts to
Oh,
analyze
yeah.
these types of crimes with his routine of criminal investigation. In the cases of satanic practices involving deviant sexual behavior, the investigator forgets the offense was committed by an abnormal person influenced by many strange and complex motivations. Therefore, law enforcement's analysis of the crime and the criminal must be guided by the principles of abnormal sexology.
So now are they trying to say that sex has to be done normally?
Yep, missionary position only.
Oh, God. So, I'm going to hell. 'Cause,
One man, one woman. That's it.
yeah, I'm going to hell.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
it's so funny the way that they trump these things up, like deviant sexual behavior and all this stuff, and it's like, I don't know, what do you think actually happens, like in any kind of an occult ritual, or it's like very little has anything to do with sex, and when it does, it's symbolic. And if there is any kind of sexual activity going on, it's between consenting adults. It's not like, goats are brought in and, there's like some bizarre like orgy that takes place. No, it's if anything happens, it's between consenting adults. And even I know that a lot of covens where they do symbolic sex magic. And when it does come to, if they actually do for some bizarre reason, like maybe once a year, where they actually perform what's called the great rite, in an actual form where it's not symbolic, it's done between a priest and a priestess in the privacy of their bedroom, and no other coven member is present when that happens. But in a room they might do it, but the coven members would exit the room. They wouldn't be in that room. So they just try to disparage it as much as they possibly can because they just don't understand it. And they look at a lot of the sexual symbolism and especially the dark imagery, and they just extrapolate from that it must be like, this blood drinking cult with all these skulls around it and having these sex orgies. And sorry to say, no, that's not the reality of being in, like, let's say a coven that works skyclad. That's like the farthest thing that happens from it.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the video as well. I think she's wearing a very pointy bra because nobody's that perky. Oh.
No, she's naked.
Then she's very perky. I don't know.
The great debate of episode 42. Perky or bra?
Perky or cone bra? Put your votes in now, people.
I vote perky.
I vote bra.
It is imperative that these cases be solved. They are vicious, revolting, and create fear in any community. Men are apprehensive for the safety of their wives, mothers, and daughters, women for their children and themselves. It is only through proper training that the police officer can hope to gain the ability to understand and recognize which are regular offenses, those that belong to cult behaviors. This is a law enforcement problem. Therefore, all law enforcement officers should be familiar with the different types of degeneracy, so they'll be able to associate the type of criminal with the offense committed, and to properly charge and prosecute the criminal in an intelligent manner.
Can you pause it for 1 second?
Yeah.
Sure. So it's one of the one of the ways that the God was represented, like a long time ago when people didn't have access to a lot of statues, because the God was symbolized as the God of death and the God of resurrection. Often he was represented as just a skull or bones or something like that. So sometimes in some of these old photographs, you will see a skull on the altar, and that was a representation of the God. I don't know if that was what the case was in that particular slide that we just saw, but it is a possibility.
I mean, I know a lot of those pictures, some of those were actually from like descriptions of the witch trials or what they did to identify a witch. Like when they were pouring something down the woman's throat, that wasn't anything to do with witchcraft. It was them trying to identify if she was a witch. I don't remember what they were doing exactly, but
it was a form of torture.
Yeah.
I think they poured hot lead down their throats.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That's something you don't want to imagine.
Yeah, when I had the opportunity to go to the Museum of Witchcraft and Magic in Boscastle, Cornwall, England, and by the way, if anybody ever has the chance to go there, they even have a website you can go and visit. But they have a lot of these torture devices that were used on people during the to get confessions out of them. And I mean, when you see these things up close, it's horrible. You know, like these Iron Maidens and chairs that they would heat up that had spikes in it, and there was like charcoals beneath it. It was a solid iron chair, and they would strap people into it, and it had spikes, and they would heat the metal, and the metal would go all the way up and burn people. And I mean, just a lot of the stuff is just it really eye-opening, and just makes your skin crawl when you see some of the stuff that they did to people. Ugh.
It even reading through books and watching documentaries on it, I still get a little grossed out about what they did to people just because a neighbor accused them of it, or the fact that they convinced a child to say, yeah, we were doing this, a child that had no idea what it meant to say those things in trial, and not only condemning herself to being hung, but her entire family. And yet they took that as, oh, well, the child is truthful, so therefore her word trumps everybody else's. Even though she was pretty much told if she said these things, everything would be all right. There was a lot of things that went on that I feel bad for anyone in those times, and I hope those things never go on ever again.
Yeah, I don't think we'll actually return to a period where people will actually resort to such a barbaric actions that we did back then. However, we do, I don't know if it's just part of our nature or part of people's nature or what, but it seems like people always need like some kind of a they need an enemy. I mean, I see a lot of parallels between the accusation of witchcraft back in the, during the 1600s, 1500, 1400s, I mean, last like 600 years. But during that period, and what we're actually going through right now, where we're seeing everybody as Nazis and white supremacists, it's like that. It's the same thing, but instead of being, tortured to confess, instead you're being ostracized and labeled in and cast into a certain group. and people believe it's justified to commit violence against these people. Like if somebody is supposedly a Nazi or a white supremacist, it's okay to punch them. It's not okay to do that. You know, it's absurd. It's completely ridiculous, but it's only the accusation. It's never brought any further than that. The same thing with during the witchcraft trials. That person's a witch. Oh, okay. Well, then they're a witch. So yeah, we have every right to put them on trial and torture them and get a confession out of them. And as soon as they confess to witchcraft, then we can burn them at the stake or hang them in the gallows. But it's the same mentality.
And it's sad. But oddly, it's the world we live in now. When it's coming to the whole, it's fine if they're a Nazi, you could punch them, but the thing is half the people they're claiming aren't. It's sad to see people reverting back to that.
Yeah, and yeah, but I would actually take it a step further, and I would say even if somebody is a Nazi, unless they're threatening you, unless they're like attacking you, no, you don't have a right to punch them. I hate to say it, but that's the truth. If somebody hates me, like let's say Bill Schnoebelen or whoever, and they think that I should, you know, burn to death or whatever, I don't care. You know, they hate me, they can hate me, but the minute they threaten me or come at me to cause violence, that's when I have the right to defend myself. Up until that point, I don't have a right to go up to them and instigate violence. I don't have that right. I only have that right if somebody is actually physically threatening me. Somebody approaches me and puts me into a corner, yes, then I have every right to defend myself. But just punching people because they're Nazis, no, sorry, we don't have that right, regardless of how ridiculous we think that their opinion is of whatever. We just don't have that right. And a lot of people don't understand that. And they need to understand that. We don't have the right to commit violence against people. Only to protect ourselves. All right, rant over.
The horrible drum music.
There are three general areas and levels of involvement in satanic occult worship.
Satanical.
The first would be dabblers. They're people who just use it for fun and games, may be involved in some video games and that kind of level, possibly a little graffiti, but reasonably innocent. The second level would be those that are involved for spiritual reasons, and they recognize that there's power in the worship of Satan. These people generally worship together and try to find the mystery of it all. And then the third level would be criminal involvement, and that's the area that interests us. These people actually believe that they gain power through criminal activity, through killing people, through various rituals that are against the law in our states and in our country.
So is he really saying that only if you practice this, you obviously want power?
Yep.
Pretty much. Yep. And that music, man. Oh.
Oh God, you can tell. You can tell this is 1994. Oh, my eyes and my ears.
Eric Pryor is a former satanic high priest turned Christian who now spends his time educating.
Told you you'd have enough hair for everybody.
Why does he look like a douchebox? Just that look of the, I used to be this, now I'm this, holier than thou kind of look.
He must be a student of Bill Schnoebelen's.
He might be, or he's the long lost son of Bill Schnoebelen. Hey Bill, we found your son. It's BS Jr.
BS Jr. He's a little BS.
So he's a Catholic priest. I don't think he might be. I think he might have disappointed Bill.
Cece says he looks like a mullet man, but younger.
a
He
bad
does look
impression
like
of an elf.
Yeah, really. He does kind of look like Mullet Man.
Mullet boy.
Mullet Boy.
No, he's just a little bit of eyeshadow away from like a really bad rock band member.
Yeah. He has that pouty lip look.
Yes, yes.
Oh, gods.
About the dark side of satanic cults. When I was practicing occultist,
Oh, it is a mullet.
Practice on various different holidays, lunar holidays and occultic holidays.
So pause it for a
We also
second.
have rituals in the park.
So this is a park that is off of Haight Street in San Francisco. This park is in the middle section of Haight Street. Like, you know, everybody's heard of Haight and Ashbury. Well, Haight and Ashbury is up a ways, probably maybe about 12 blocks from here. But this park nowadays is just like a place where just like people just go to get high and hang out at. And so this park has always sort of been that, but even in the 60s, it was kind of like a place for hippies to go and smoke out and stuff. So this park is just not like your regular park that you just go to walk around in. It's just so people know.
So it's basically a park that is already known for not being the best park in the world.
Yeah, especially nowadays, yes.
So he's just putting an extra bad label on it. Got it.
When we didn't have a space to do rituals indoor. So what I'd like to do is take you into the park and just kind of show you one of the places that you would start asking your questions and start looking to see, you know, what the occultists are up to. There's two different communities that use this park. One is the pagan or occultic community, and the other community is, of course, the homosexual community. Interestingly enough, they go hand in hand. And so, well, see, here you go. Upon entering the park, you can see they wrote,
oh, look at that! Strategically placed there.
I know. I love how he says the occultic community and the homosexual community.
They go hand in hand.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think so. No. The homosexual community in San Francisco is not like hanging out in this park. They've got better places to hang out at, like a whole bunch of bars, like thousands of them throughout the city.
Isn't there like a major homosexual district? I was seeing district. Yeah. It's just like
yeah. There's several of them. There's for example, there's the Castro district, which is a huge gay lesbian community. But I mean, it's pretty much throughout San Francisco. I mean, you'll see like there's gay bars like in the South of Market area. They're all over the place. But yeah, so there's the Castro district. There's also the Polk Gulch, which is supposed to be a predominantly gay area. And then there's the Tenderloin, which is back in the heyday, back in the 70s, it was a huge transsexual community, and it still is. There's still a lot of but back then it was a place where a lot of transsexuals would turn tricks. But now they don't really do that. But yeah, I mean, throughout San Francisco, there's all kinds of like really cool clubs that people can hang out at. They all don't go to this park. And I also love how the pentagram is just so happens to be there. What luck.
Oh, it gets a lot better, my friend. It gets a lot better.
I can't wait till we get a little closer to this and actually see how fresh that pentagram is.
It looks fairly new because of how bright it is, so I'm pretty sure it was strategically placed there.
Mm-hmm.
Already got started. Okay. This is a pentacle. Interesting thing about this pentacle is it's an upright pentacle. This is not a satanic pentacle. Now, the reason why this pentacle would not be considered satanic is because it has one point up. Now, Satanists would reverse this star, or pentacle as it's called,
and have 2 points up. Those represent the horns of Baphomet and or the horns of Satan. But now, right over here,
can you pause it for a second?
Here, there's a,
Yep.
So, okay, so a pentacle, even if it is reversed, can mean the second degree traditional second degree symbol of Wicca. But if it's a satanic pentacle and it is reversed and there's one down, you'll see a goat image in it, which is called the goat of Mendes, and then around each point of the pentagram, you will see the Hebrew letters, and I forget what it says what it represents, but that's a specifically satanic pentagram. But if you see a pentagram that's reversed, it doesn't always mean that it's a satanic pentagram. So that's just something that a lot of people don't understand. They trip over that.
Well, at least he has some correct information.
I think that every time we watch a video now, we just have to have that little "now you know" ready to fly by. Like whenever Hellbound goes on a rant, it's just like, "and now you know."
Yeah, that little rainbow thing with the star that says, "and now you know."
Knowledge is power.
Yeah, there you go. Knowledge is power. But actually, he didn't get anything right. What were you saying that he got right, Loki?
Just the names, pentacle and pentagram. That's
Oh,
about it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
there's a inverted cross. Now this is satanic. This is a very generic symbol. Let me see. It's actually fairly fresh too.
So it was just put there, more or less, is what you're saying. If you're still rubbing paint off of it.
And I love how it's right at the beginning of this park. So like they didn't have to like search around for hours for it. It was just like right there.
I got a little Christian fact for this guy too, though. The inverted cross is actually a Christian symbol. It's called the St. Peter's cross. Because St. Peter felt that he wasn't worthy enough to be killed the same way as Jesus. So the myth goes, like the story goes, that they inverted the cross and crucified him upside down. So technically, it's a Christian symbol.
Huh.
Knowledge is power. Or you know.
This here, of course, is a bastardization of Christianity, and it's a very common symbol. Obviously, they probably had a party or ritual here within the past night or two. Usually what they'll do is they'll mark.
Can you pause it for a second?
It was still wet paint. It wasn't a night or two ago. It was 20 minutes ago.
Exactly. And also, who in their right mind is going to throw a party at the entrance of a park? If you were going to do anything, you would go into the park so you're away from prying eyes. There you would have your party and vandalize and do all the stuff. You wouldn't do it at the entrance of a park. This guy, he obviously never attended very many outdoor legal parties. No,
all the gays scared the Satanists away, so they had a party at the front. The gay guys still took it all in the back, so.
Yeah, they don't want to hang around with the gays. They don't want it to rub off on them.
Oh God. Ooh, that was actually a good one.
They'll mark a path to kind of show you where the action's at. The colors they'll use will be white, red, and black. Those are the dominant colors of the satanic movement. And basically, over here, see? There you go. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, what you're looking at here is called Voodoo Vivi. This is kind of like a coat of arms, if you will, for the demonic. And the implications of this is definitely satanic. When I showed you earlier the one pointed up star as we first came in, and I told you that, you know, the implications of Satanism are 2 points up. As you can see, there are 2 points up here. And someone has made it very clear they were probably worshiping Set, because it says Set here, so it's pretty obvious. Now, this here, if I'm not mistaken, looks like a money BB. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were here in the park doing a money ritual. And this is very typical. This is the kind of thing that you can expect to see not only on crime scenes, but in areas where occultists hang out. Like gang graffiti, occultists kind of communicate to each other through their graffiti. On the rise there up here is a very flat area, concrete area, that is used often.
Can you pause it for a second?
For ritual practice.
So who wants to bet that any other images that we see in this video are going to be in white paint?
I'm pretty sure that that's all they use. They ran around with a spray can of white paint and did this.
It's like you would see like other stuff around there, just like, and so somebody is putting together. They're putting in Set 666 and a voodoo symbol. Who the fuck is doing that? I mean, come on, that's if they know that much about voodoo to be able to create a voodoo symbol for that, they're not going to include Set 666 and up down. It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? It's just like if they're going to actually write, like, because in voodoo, what you do is you have those images that you write in, and each one of those images represents a certain spirit or low or whatever that you invoke by putting that in there. So it wouldn't make any sense to put an upside down pentagram with 666 and a set into it. That doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. I think they're just making random symbols for him to point out and talk about.
Well, there you go. You can see from here 666 and an eye. Now that eye above 666 is an Egyptian eye, the eye of Anubis. So
I have Anubis.
This eye that these people that were up here were into ceremonial magic. These aren't witches. These are definitely Satanists. You look at these dumpsters. See, this is how they talk to each other. Now, what you see here, this is gang graffiti, okay? And this is how gangs talk to each other, okay? But now this is how occultists talk to each other. This here is a psilocybin mushroom. So probably they had a psilocybin ritual, which is not uncommon.
No, that is a piece of graffiti that somebody painted, because you can see those all around different places in California.
No, it's part of satanic graffiti.
You dare bring your logic here? Huh.
How dare I logic? Damn me for logicking.
Known for using peyote and psilocybin. And so this was probably a psilocybin ritual. Okay, here you go. Shem Hemfarash is a satanic invocation, and Halley is also part of a satanic invocation. There is a book out called The Greater Key of Solomon. And in The Greater Key of Solomon, you will see on the seal of Solomon this word. All right, from what I can tell, from the graffiti and everything that I've seen, and what I see here on the concrete, it looks like they actually have the ritual here. Now, there's an N here for north, and there's an S over here for south. Now, while these are not the true directions, obviously someone had a bad sense of direction. I'm assuming that this is where they actually had their ritual. One of the reasons why they would use this particular area to have a ritual is it is on concrete, and it's a nice open area. When we used to come up and have rituals, and we had a group, we would look for an open, flat space. This is an open, flat space. This would be an ideal place for them to have a ritual. Now, if I was a solo occult practitioner, I might do it in the bushes somewhere and have a little altar set up. So what you're doing is when you come onto a scene and you're investigating a scene, and you'll find clues as to what happened. Right here, okay, we have a rope here. This is a noose. And actually, if you look at it closely, I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but
so is he tampering with possible police evidence
noose
right now?
He could be. Dear God, Rabbit, do you really have to drink that much goddamn water? If you can hear that clicking sound, that's my rabbit. But I'm just thinking, it looks like somebody just tied a rope to put around something. It honestly may have not been used for anything else but kinky bad sex.
I just like the way he's saying it, though. Like, if I was solo, I would do it over here in the bushes. It's just like, if I'm going to make up to people that I was a Satanist, how can I make myself sound realistic? I, too, would go to a nice public open area and do stuff. I don't know, I just find it complete BS.
Now,
So do I.
this could have been used either to bind someone up in some type of a ritual scourging, or it could have actually been used on an animal that was sacrificed. When
Can you pause it for a
sacrificing
second?
a cat or a dog.
There you go.
So I was looking up Shem-Hesh-Pharesh or whatever in the Key of Solomon, and it doesn't. There's no Shem-Hesh-Pharesh in there. The only thing that even comes close to that is the name. Whoops, where is it? Is the name Shemesh, which is it pertains to the order of the planets, and it's probably like some Jewish name for. There's when it's talking about of the days, the hours, and the virtues of the planets, they talk about Shemesh, but it doesn't have anything to do with Shemesh Farash or whatever. But there is the Shemesh. So whoever wrote that might have been remembering it incorrectly, even if that actual writing had anything to do with the occult, which I really doubt it did. And I don't even know why they would write that on the but I mean, sometimes people know like a little bit about the occult, and they're probably into doing whatever. They might draw and write stuff or whatever. I mean, that's happened. You have people who know a little bit about the occult, and they don't quite understand things, and so they'll use bits and pieces that they kind of remember or whatever, and do their own sort of association with it. Rant over.
Of course, animals move around a lot and they get unruly, so they would tie it up. But there is blood all over this particular noose. Now, these are the kind of things that you'd be looking for. What we have here is a medicine bottle of 2% xylocaine. For those of you with medical knowledge, you would know xylocaine, known as lidocaine, is a numbant. It's used to numb people, and for that matter, animals. And of course, if you're going to ritually sacrifice an animal or a human, for that matter, in a public place, you don't want them to be screaming in pain. So it's not uncommon for occultists to use something like this. And of course, here we have it. On this tree here, we have some more graffiti. It's in red, which is a classical satanic color. Now, what's interesting here is the number 9. 9 represents the 9 satanic statements. You can find this in a book by Anton Sanzer LaVey, which is called the Satanic Bible, and you will see that there are 9 satanic statements. This is the way occultists tell each other, hey, we're Satanists, and we're partying.
So
The 9 satanic.
that park also, it's in the middle of a neighborhood. There's like that person who was walking behind him and the parked car. I mean, there's houses all around that park. It's kind of like this park is up on a hill, and this hill was sort of sectioned off and became a little park. But there's houses all around there. So the idea that somebody's taking animals up there or humans up there and doing a sacrifice is completely ridiculous. Neighbors would see it, people would hear stuff, and I've never heard of anything like that ever happening in that park. And also, I've never ever come across an actual case where somebody was doing a ritual killing of a human being in some kind of an occult ceremony. I've yet to come across that, and I've never come across it.
Well, you could also look at Anton LaVey's book, like the Satanic Bible itself. It's against sacrifice because it believes that some animals deserve life more than some humans. It's against human sacrifice because it says you only have one life to live, so why risk it going to prison for the rest of your life? So his whole argument here could be destroyed if someone actually picked up the Satanic Bible.
Yeah. And also the fact is, yeah, I mean, it's also illegal. I mean, if you harm somebody, it doesn't matter. You're going to jail. It doesn't matter if somebody's doing it because they believe it gives them power, or they're just doing it, because they're sadistic, antisocial psychopaths. If you harm people, yeah, you suffer consequences because of it. And it doesn't mean, like, if I'm in a coven, if I'm in a group, and somebody harms somebody, I don't care. My oaths don't cover that. No oath covers me protecting somebody from it. I'm going to report it to the police. And the same thing with anybody. One of the things that, you'll often come across in any kind of, like if you ever take like a Wicca 101 class or whatever, is that, you take oaths, but the oaths don't cover like illegal activity. If somebody performs illegal activity, well, they're breaking the law, and they're subject to the laws of the state.
Satanic statements from the Satanic Bible by Anton LaVey. Number 1, Satan represents indulgence instead of abstinence. Number 2, Satan represents vital existence instead of spiritual pipe dreams. Number 3, Satan represents undefiled wisdom instead of hypocritical self-deceit. Number 4, Satan represents kindness to those who deserve it instead of love wasted on ingrates. Number 5, Satan represents vengeance instead of turning the other cheek. Number 6, Satan represents responsibility to the responsible instead of concern for psychic vampires. Number 7, Satan represents man as just another animal, sometimes better or often worse than those that walk on all fours, who, because of his divine spiritual and intellectual development, has become the most vicious animal of all. Number 8, Satan represents all of the so-called sins, as they all lead to physical, mental, or emotional gratification. And number 9, Satan has been the best friend the church has ever had, as he has kept it in business all these years.
This is the symbol for the Church of Satan, and this is kind of like their crest.
Yep.
That symbol is the official Satanic cross. It's not just, oh, here's the Church of Satan symbol. That is the official Satanic cross symbol. So that BS he had at the beginning with the upside down cross is really shows just how lacking he is of this satanic group that he used to belong to, apparently. So
yeah, and it's in white paint.
So he could have done that when the camera wasn't looking. Or had somebody come up and do it earlier.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, I think that he came in earlier and had somebody put the symbols there, or he put them there himself, because I mean he's doing this. He knows that they're going to be filming, right? It's not like this was out of the blue. They had been planning this for a while, and he was going to walk through and show them all these symbols. So he had to create these symbols. I'm sure of it. I mean, obviously we don't know absolutely 100% for sure that he did that, but I'm pretty sure he did, because it just seems like it's just so damn convenient that all these things just happen to be in this park, and they all just happen to be in white paint. You know, and also his free association of all these random things that he's finding in this park, and then he's associating it with, you know, satanic activity in the park. I don't even know. I don't even know or believe that people actually practiced anything in that park. I don't believe it. I mean, do we know this was in the 90s, right?
Yes, 94.
Okay. So even in 94, there were tons of covens in San Francisco. Anton's Black House was still functioning, because Anton LaVey died. Oh wait, no, in the 90s. I forget exactly when Anton LaVey died. But anyhow, the Black House was still in operation, and there was also the Temple of Set, and then there was all little sub grottos of the Satanic Temple and Satanic Church in San Francisco, and people would often purchase places to practice, or you just go to someone's house and practice. That's usually what always happened. So outdoor rituals were usually done in like Ocean Beach, which is a great place to have an outdoor ritual. Golden Gate Park is huge. It is absolutely huge. You can get lost in Golden Gate Park if you're not careful. So there's places in Golden Gate Park where you can go and have rituals. This park is like the worst place to have a ritual, because it's surrounded by apartment buildings. There's like a lot of homeless people and drug addicts who hang out in this park. It's like the worst place to have any kind of a private ceremony.
Their coat of arms, if you will. This would imply that these people either have affiliations with the Church of Satan or perceive themselves to have affiliations with the Church of Satan. Everything that we've seen here indicates Satanism.
Different ritual sites will have different configurations and markings, but this gives you a good example of what to look for. First, upon entering the park, the pentacle and inverted cross were displayed. Second, further up the path, we found a voodoo bead, which indicated a money ritual. Third, at the open cement areas that are common to satanic activity, we found graffiti that showed recent activity. In addition, we found a bloody noose and a xylocaine pot. Fourth, on the way out of the park, we found another inverted cross and the number 9, which, as we demonstrated, represents the 9 satanic statements from the Satanic Bible. Fifth and finally, we found markings indicating that the ritual was by followers of the Church of Satan.
Behind me is the city of San Francisco, a city known for the first satanic church in America. Anton LaVey established this church under the freedoms of our country in 1966 and wrote the Satanic Bible.
Anton LaVey, perhaps the best-known Satanist in America, compiled his years of cult knowledge into 2 of Satanism's most important handbooks, the Satanic Bible and a companion, the Satanic Rituals. The general practice of Satanism promotes 3 basic areas of attraction: gratification of flesh, gratification of ego, and power. Some Satanists, and a significant number of others, feel that Satanism is a viable way of getting supernatural help because they are too distant from the good God to have any hope of reaching him. The good God and his virtues, such as beauty and joy, are essentially impractical. And it would be easier to catch the notice of an evil god than a good one. To better understand
Can you pause it?
Satanism, it might be a
Yeah.
The logic he just gave is very... It has a lot of holes, let's just say. So he's saying people are also Satanists because they don't want to put in the effort into getting the help from a superior being, so they'll settle for something lesser and evil. That's what I caught out of that. What do you guys think? Because
That's what it's sounding like, that the only reason why people drift to Satanism or any of that is because, oh, well, it's easier to get their attention than it is to get God's attention. It's not simply not true.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like how all of these other videos are done. I mean, this guy's, when he introduced himself, he's a cop and a pastor. Apparently, it really matters that he's a pastor. I mean, they're talking about satanic crimes, but they also mentioned that he's a pastor. It's this trying to elevate oneself above other belief systems and saying that theirs is the superior. And, you know, people who worship Satan are obviously, you know, immoral people who just want power, and they want to be able to do what they want without any kind of consequences. And their whole perspective on this is from their belief system. Their default is that their system is the moral high ground. And so any other thing that's around them must be lesser somehow. But yeah, I agree with you. It's just like they're trying to make themselves morally superior to Satanists. But I mean, the Satanists that I've met have been decent people. They're very grounded. They seem very realistic, and they're honest. You know, they're decent people, and actually they're really nice too. And you know, so whatever. I'm actually looking. I have a copy of the Satanic Bible. I'm actually looking up to see if I can find those statements.
appropriate to talk about some of the initiation practices for Satanists. And to better understand them, you would take a look at what might be traditional Christianity or some normal faith, and if you reversed it, it would be something that Satanists would embrace. Initiation into Satanism or a similar cult usually includes a spoken denial of the Christian faith, generally accompanied by saying the Lord's Prayer backwards. Rebaptism in Satan's name and taking a new name to replace the given Christian name. An oath of allegiance to Satan while standing in a magic circle, entering the initiate's name in the Book of Death. And a promise to sacrifice children to Satan and marking the initiate with the devil's mark.
So
What?
should we just call BS on all those?
Yeah, where the fuck did he get that?
And why do they call like your given birth name a Christian name? What if your parents weren't even Christian when you were born? What? I'm confused by that.
So you guys mean you didn't have to sacrifice children to Satan? I thought that was in the brochure for how to start off Satanism.
Nah. That was how to start out being a murderer. You got the wrong brochure, honey.
I love the fear tactics, though. It's really factually liberal, let's say. So
it just baffles me, the whole, well, they always have to sacrifice children.
I'd rather sacrifice the senior because it's just like, let me trick you into giving me everything in your will, and then I'll sacrifice you because that makes more sense than a child who has nothing. Ha ha ha. Logic.
Yeah, you actually got a better point there. But I think the idea is because the child's soul is so pure.
This program is designed to help law enforcement officers better understand.
Sorry, can you pause it for a second?
Now remember,
Okay.
So even before that whole slide thing where they were talking about the evil God and the good God, so I'm looking at the Satanic Bible, and I'm not seeing anything about a good God.
Oh, it's not, man. The Satanic Bible, like Levain Satanism, is pure shock atheism with a satanic coat.
Right.
That's all it is.
Yeah. So I don't even know, because I mean, I'm not that familiar with the Satanic Bible. So, I mean, I didn't know for sure. So I just wanted to look at it, but I didn't see anything about the good God. I mean, I could see them calling the good God, and the evil God, the evil God. I mean, I could see that, but when I'm looking at it, I don't see it in there. So I don't know where the fuck he's getting this.
It's not in there at all, man. It's pure atheism in there. That's all it is.
Okay.
You have one life, no soul. You live for the moment, pretty much. Like, you live for what's going to benefit you and what's going to help you get the most out of life. That's the core teachings of Satanism. Well, Levain Satanism.
All right. Well, quit pushing your religion on me, man.
I can't. I need to find more kids to sacrifice. I need more help.
Go and volunteer at a daycare. Then you have all the kids you need.
There you
I
go.
can't, because I'm a Satanist. I have all these weird tattoos and piercings. Like, you can see me from a mile away.
Only one more sacrifice and I level up.
You want to know a scary thought? At work right now, Soren is actually cleaning childcare.
There we go. We got the people we need now.
Yep, just come to my work and borrow those kitties. It's not like their parents are gonna miss them. Wow, I'm horrible. I'm sorry. I take that back. No, we do not condone killing children.
Yeah, really. Somebody's going to steal that sound bite and say, see, I told you.
Oh, I'm pretty sure someone's going to. And if they were smart, they would figure out where I worked. But at the same time, I hope they don't. Because it's not like I wear it in any of my videos. Oh, wait. There is one. Anyways.
All satanic people do not commit crimes. Some of their activities are perfectly legal. But there are some things that some Satanists do that lead to illegal behavior, and some of them seem rather innocent on the surface. Some of those things might be just simple vandalism or trespass. Cruelty to animals that might be detected through mutilations and sacrifice. Kidnapping, whether they're adults or children, or even kidnapping of animals. Rape, molestation, child abuse, child sexual abuse that may be different than just harming a child, ritual abuse, arson, murder, which might include human sacrifice or mass murders or cannibalism, drug trafficking, sexual trafficking of children, corpse theft, cemetery vandalism, black market sales of bones and skulls, black market baby selling, pedophilia, pornography, torture.
Why not throw in arms dealing also?
Yeah, I'm seeing all these things that you put in there. So it's like, okay, so basically, if you commit almost any crime, you're apparently a Satanist.
Well, and also some of the more serious things. What examples? When? What cases? I mean, if you're going to make the accusation that there are Satanists running around doing this, obviously you have some case, something to fall back on. But no, especially a lot of that crap that he threw in there, it's all from the Satanic Panic during this period. The idea that Satanists are running around kidnapping children, which was a big part of the Satanic Panic. They honestly believed that, because there was like the poly-class kidnapping that happened in San Francisco, in the Bay Area at that time. And there was a strong belief, even in the occult community of San Francisco, that Satanists were somehow involved in abducting children and kidnapping them and, torturing them and abusing them and drinking their blood. And I mean, all these outrageous allegations that is part of this Satanic Panic period, none of these were true. This was all just bullshit. It was like, basically it's the same thing like they had during the witchcraft trials. You know, witches were turning people, you know, into impotent fools and causing milk to go sour and giving people the evil eye and all this stuff. But there was no evidence for it. There was no actual things happening. There was no actual kidnappings that were being done by satanic cults. It was all just bullshit.
Did you guys see though how they put pornography in there with arson, murder, corpse theft, cemetery vandalism? It's just like, what the heck? Why not put like not doing your homework on time, arson, murder, disrespecting your parents, drug trafficking, child mutilation? It's like, why stop there? Might as well add every little thing there. So
Jaywalking.
Jaywalking, Grand Theft Auto.
Who knows? It might be popping in here soon. He's not done with the list. And apparently, if you desecrate a church, you have to be a Satanist. You can't just be some punk teenager.
Buildings, human slavery, weapons violations, suicides, disposing of animal parts, illegal entry into mortuaries and cemeteries, necrophilia, or having sex with dead people. These things may or may not be satanic kinds of rituals, but they're important to note in your reporting because they would fit together in a fabric as follow-up investigations might indicate a deeper need to look into the dark side of your community. So note them well and ask the investigators to do a little further follow-up if you find any of these indicated in a crime or in a police report.
There is a difference between Satanism, voodoo, and witchcraft. And what I'd like to do is show you different altar setups so you can familiarize yourself with how these people operate and their various different paraphernalia.
Quick, everybody
These
take
particular
notes.
groups,
Wait, where's my notebook?
I'm going to show you.
Got it. Okay, screenshots. Got it.
Are the type of groups that would most probably be involved in criminal activity. While you wouldn't find all this stuff at a crime scene, you will find evidence that they have been at a crime scene. For instance, you might find something like this pin here, which is used to penetrate a pulpit like we have sitting here. But then again, there are other things that might be left behind.
There's more to voodoo than voodoo dolls, man.
Now, voodoo,
I know,
Can-
right?
Can you pause it for a second?
Yep.
Can you go back? Maybe hit J like twice. Yeah, right there. Perfect. And then play it again, please.
Okay.
crime scene. For instance, you might find something like this pin here, which is used to penetrate a pulpit like we have sitting here.
Oh, it's okay. Anyhow, but
Then again, there are other things that might be left behind.
there was something that he had said like prior where he said whatever it was that he said it didn't make sense to me. He was saying something about crime scenes and you wouldn't see these at a crime scene, but you would see these at a crime scene.
You wouldn't see these at a crime scene, but if you found them somewhere, you would notice that they would probably have been used at a crime scene.
Yeah, something to that effect he had just said, and I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? So anyhow, that's all right.
That would indicate voodoo. Now, voodoo is colorful, and usually beads and shells are associated with it. What you're looking at here is two small conch shells and some beads. Now, this is what a priest would put on the necklace, such as I'm wearing here. This would indicate high priesthood. You might find conches like this with beads. You might find powders like this left behind. This is the type of stuff that would usually be left behind in a crime scene. You're not going to find candles intact, and if you do, you might find a candle very similar to the one I'm holding here. Now, you might look at this candle and say, well, what makes this candle different? Well, first of all, any candle that's used in Santeria, Macumba, or Voodoo generally will have a patron saint on the front. Now, this is the saint that they would be paying obeisances to, you know, lighting the nicotine up to, drinking the rum to, and smoking the cigar smoke to. But on the back, it'll have a prayer to that patron saint that is only indicative to candles used in Santeria, Macumba, and Voodoo. Another thing that you might find would be small vials like this. These vials will contain some type of a ritual oil. Usually these oils are poured over a coal in a ritual practice. You might find a lot of empty oil vials at a ritual site. What you're looking at here is a classical satanic altar setup. Now, there are more than one type of satanic group. There are rogue satanic groups where you have a bunch of young people that get together and they read.
Where's the phallic symbol? I demand my phallic symbol.
Anton Sanzor-Levay.
Yeah, where it's a penis candle.
Some of the stuff that is published by the Temple of Set, which is also another large church of Satan. But now an organized satanic group has an organized way of setting up its altar. What you're looking at here is a classical satanic altar setup. It's very Spartan. 2 candle holders. One candle would have a white, one would have a black. You'd have a Baphomet candle in the center, or Mendes goat is what it's called. You would have a male candle on the left-hand side and a female candle on the right-hand side.
Pause for 1 second. So, no, the Baphomet symbol and the goat of Mendes are 2 different things. The Baphomet symbol is a alchemical symbol representing various things. There's like a ton of symbolism in it. The goat head that is in the pentagram, or the upside down pentagram that's used in the Church of Satan in particular, and is associated with Satanism, is the goat of Mendes. And one of the things, Anton LaVey was a photographer for the San Francisco Police Department for a long period of time. He was actually part of the, he was a forensic photographer for them. So he worked very closely with the San Francisco Police Department and was very open with them and talked with them and, you know, helped them to kind of understand Satanism and the occult, period. And so he worked closely with the San Francisco Police Department. So if they ever believed that he was involved in human sacrifice, or Satanists were involved in human sacrifice or whatever, they would have found that out and it would have been exposed. So, you know, that's just a note to put out there.
You would have a skull, which is considered the barrier of death, and a bell to ring for each one of the 9 satanic statements. And they would ring it. You would also have 2 ceremonial daggers. One ceremonial dagger is actually used in directing the forces of magic. Do that. As in directing their powers. And the other dagger, which would be called a bolane, would actually be used in ritual work.
He's also using
sacrifice. Someone else would use
those are in reverse. So the wide-handled knife wouldn't be called the bolane, but it would be called a wide-handled knife, and would be used to carve candles or cut herbs or whatever. Also, the bolane could be used for that. But traditional Wicca and also Anton LaVey borrowed from that. The wide-handled knife was. Am I tapping something?
No, that was my fan above me.
Oh, okay, okay. was so he's doing those in reverse. So obviously the black-handled knife, or the tame, as most people call it, is used to direct magical energy. The white-handled knife is to use for carving candles or cutting herbs. So he has those. He has those reversed.
Bowline, it's considered a working knife. So in a satanic altar setup, you're always going to look for two knives. Okay, what you're looking at here is a basic witchcraft setup. Now, the difference is you don't see the bells. You don't see the Satanic Bible. And you'll see a couple extra things here. For instance, most witches are very adept at using the tarot. Witches are very, very big on an art called scrying or fortune telling. Another interesting addition is that, notice, the candle holders are wooden. Witches perceive themselves to be nature-centered religious belief systems, so that they use
I'm doing mine all wrong.
natural elements as possible.
Apparently, I am too.
Instead of having a ceremonial dagger like we have here that would be used in Satanism, they would just use a very simple one dagger. That's called an athame. Now, the athame is used when they charge the wine, which would be in the chalice. The athame would be used when they charge the wine, which would be in the chalice. The salt, which would be in the salt bowl. And the water, which would be in the water bowl, as well as the incense. Another interesting addition we have here is Kyrnos. This is one of the gods of the witches. And the center for any witchcraft altarpiece will have either Kyrnos, which is the god of the witches, or Diana. Another thing that witches will often have on their altar is a mortar and pestle, because they work a lot with pharmakeia, or various different incenses. Now, this is an incense we have here that would be used in ritual practice. Notice they're very bright in color. There are many different kinds. These are the kind of things that you might find left over at a crime scene. You might find little piles of colored, it looks like chalk, but it's not chalk. It's actually incense. And if you were to take it and smell it, it usually has a very fragrant smell. Another thing that you'll find is usually there's chalk. There's usually a piece of red chalk and a piece of white chalk. This is used to draw a circle around the ritual area, and it's called a boundary between the worlds. And then what they will do is make various different magical symbols in those circles, believing that these symbols will seal off an area. Now, witches are known for their artwork, their drawing of symbols, their use of colored powders.
I feel like I'm a really bad witch now.
And of course,
I think so too.
Oop, can you pause it for a second? Yeah, he's talking about like usually an Alexandrian type of practice where people would actually draw a circle. They would draw a circle out, and then within that circle you would write certain names like Adonai and what was it, Adonai, and they would write out names of power, and you know, the Hebrew Kabbalah names of power. But I don't think that most people do that anymore. Maybe there's some well, I shouldn't say that. There probably are people who still do it, or maybe they have a permanent circle that they have this written out. Also, ceremonial magicians often do that, where they'll draw out a whole circle and then write in the names of power and put in various symbols in it. But I think for the most part, most witches today, they just cast a circle and that's it. They don't bother, you know, measuring it out for exactly, you know, 9 feet or however long it's supposed to be for them, and then writing in the names of power. This is kind of, he probably This is probably something he read in a book somewhere. And, you know, this is back from the day when most Alexandrian witches might have done that, but no, it doesn't. I don't think many people do it today. Like when I cast a circle, I don't bother to measure it out and write the names of power and all that nonsense in there. But there are some people who do, and they feel that it's part of their practice and it's very important to do, and you know, that's what they do. But I don't think most people do write in, you know, measure out the circle and write in all the names of power.
I know I don't.
The more you know. Do 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 do.
Even wooden knives. And so this would be more indicative of witchcraft. As you have seen, the difference between the items you might find on an altar from the various different occult styles is subtle. When you pay attention, you'll see that there is indeed a distinct difference. This will give you the understanding of the type of group you're dealing with. And when you know the type of group you're dealing with, you'll also learn to understand how they think, where they'll congregate, and where they'll be.
That's music is deafening.
It is.
There are many different satanic symbols, more common ones. The inverted cross.
The St.
This is
Peter's
used to
cross,
defame the
Christian
Christian
symbol.
In a righted position, Christ's head would be looking up towards heaven. In this position, it would point downward towards Satan and hell. By defaming a Christian symbol, the thought is that power is taken away. The numbers 666. According to the Bible, these numbers 666 are the mark of the beast. The pentagram. This inverted star points downward towards hell and Satan. It is a popular symbol, but has no meaning other than a satanic one, and there may be many different versions. The voodoo vivi. As we saw in the park, it represents the type of ritual that occurs. The anarchy, which is the symbol of rebellion.
Oh, God.
And the swastika. In past history, this symbol has been used by witches and warlocks as a magic emblem. A glossary of selected terms. The altar, a table used for satanic rituals, normally a table of flat rock, but can also be a nude physical female being. The Antichrist. The Bible's book of Revelations describes him as the son of Satan, who will return and be present to receive his powers and challenge Jesus Christ during his second coming. The Baphomet. Described as a deity in the form of a goat-headed god with the wings of angels, the breasts of a female, and carrying a torch between his horns. Black magic. Magic that is used for destruction and hate. Black mass. The most diabolical ritual that can be performed by a Satanist. It entails a blasphemous communion with Satan, desecration of artifacts of Christianity, a mockery of the Holy Bible, and all things that Christians religiously cherish. The ceremonies involve rape and sexual assault, sodomy, animal and human sacrifices, and often the slaughter of unbaptized infants.
What?
What?
I have never heard the Black Mass needing you to slaughter unbaptized infants or rape or any. Where are they pulling this out of?
Their imaginations.
That's the only place I can think they're pulling it out of.
Yes. And the actual Black Mass, there's like several different versions of it, but it is just a reverse of a Christian Mass. You can go online, you can find various versions of it, but in no version I've ever come across is there any kind of a human sacrifice involved in it. It's just used as like a way of just sort of reversing the Christian symbolism and going against that. And it's it's just really a big middle finger to the Catholic ceremony. That's all it is. And it's used to be cathartic in nature and to kind of reverse it. But no, there's no. Again, I have never, and if anybody wants to challenge me on this and tell me of any kind of an actual ritual where some baby was murdered or human was sacrificed and involves some kind of an occult ritual, yeah, I'm open to it, but I've never ever come across it, and I've really tried to be careful about that, and really research it before I actually open up my mouth and say that's never happened. It's never happened. Even when I contacted people who supposedly run a whole website on satanic ritual abuse, they could never tell me about it. There are people out there who are insane, who believe that they do something in the name of Satan, but it doesn't mean that they did it as an actual ritual or that there's an actual ritual that involves it. There's just psychotic people who would do it in the name of anything. They'd do it in the name of God, or I mean, there's even people who murdered their own children because they believed that they were saving them from something. There's psychotic people out there who do things, but actual satanic ritual or actually occult rituals that involve that, no, doesn't happen. The more you know.
Do do do.
Blood, the life force. Satanists believe that the drinking of another person's blood or that of an animal increases their power and provides life force directly to Satan. The circle. The circle is the Satanists' protection from the forces they conjure up during their summoning and incantations. A group of non-traditional Satanists, not normally exceeding 13. Traditional Satanists do not have covenants. Cult. A group of people who follow a leader who, through his charismatic ways, command allegiance, belief, and worship. Infamous leaders include Hitler, Crowley, Jim Jones, and David Koresh. Devil. One such name of Satan, Lucifer, Leviathan, Prince of Darkness. The symbolic identification of Satan in the world. Grottos. Countless Satanists in one order or organization. Hand of glory. The left hand of a person who has died. The hand is removed from the body, pickled, embalmed, and mummified. It is then used to ward off evil spirits. The head. Satanists believe that the head is the most important part of the body. They often eat the brain to receive powers of the deceased person. The heart. Satanists believe it.
What? Oh my! I know no recipe for preparing human brain.
So what did you do last night? I went to a satanic ritual, chopped off the guy's head and ate his brain. Why? What'd you do?
Oh, I just had a baby for dinner.
Where are they getting this?
Are they just pulling up things that people like? Well, I heard they did this. Are they really, truly flipping believing? No sane person should believe this.
The funniest thing is what we're watching is Law Enforcement's Guide to Satanic Cults. So I'm assuming that this was made for law enforcement agents. I'm wondering how many law enforcement agents are like sitting there like going, oh, wow, that happens. How many are like sitting there going, wait a second.
If they still use this, I wonder how many are raising their hand going, we don't do that. It's just amazing what people think others do, and dear Lord.
So they sacrifice a human being, but first they eat their brain and their hearts. And they say it nonchalantly, like, oh, it's just happening. This happens all the time. People are murdered and brains are eaten and hearts are eaten and they chop off their heads. It's just like run of the mill thing, happens every day. No.
Last I look, it doesn't. Fuck.
By eating the heart, they believe that assumption of the deceased's characteristics and powers will be thus transferred. Host. Normally using blessed communion wafers, symbolic of the body of Christ, Satanists insert them into the vagina of the altar, or physically stomp, thus desecrating Christian beliefs.
There's a vagina on an altar?
Where do you guys get your altars from? Because mine doesn't have a vagina.
Mine doesn't either.
So in the Black Mass, and also in some satanic rituals, and again, I've never attended an actual satanic ritual, so I'm going upon hearsay. But sometimes they will use an actual woman, a naked woman, as an altar. So that's where that comes from. It's also traditional during a Black Mass. You'll come across Black Masses where they'll use a stone altar, or they'll actually use a naked woman, and a naked woman is the altar. So that's where it comes from. But I don't know. I don't know if they would insert the host into the vagina. I don't know. It's within the realm of possibility. They might. I don't know for sure. My instinct would tell me that no, they don't. If anything, they might consecrate it as if it was coming out of the vagina, but I don't think they would actually put it into a woman's vagina. I doubt that.
I would highly doubt it too, because that just sounds extremely uncomfortable. As a woman, I will tell you that right now. That just does not. No.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun.
All right, we'll watch a couple more minutes of this and then we'll stop it.
Yeah, because it's already 8:54.
Yeah.
Lucifer. When cast out of heaven, he was followed by 1/3 of all the angels. Pagans, those who practiced witchcraft, the worship of nature as well as multiple gods. Satan, an angel created by God, cast out of heaven, and now the object of worship by Satanists throughout the world. Succubus, a female demonic force that copulates with human males. Incubus, a male demonic force that copulates with human females. And witchcraft, the practice of the old religion which focuses on the goddess in her many forms.
And I'll stop it right there.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, that's a good place to stop it. So 3544.
Yep, 3544. I will post that in the thingy right now. I have to unlock my phone because apparently I had it locked. But oh, some of those things are just like, really? You can tell this was made during the satanic panic.
I'm glad it's still around, though.
Yeah, there's evidence of it. It's just so funny that they use this as like a training for law enforcement. I wonder how it was received and how long it actually like made the circuit before people were like, wait a second, has this actually ever occurred? And law enforcement's like, no, it hasn't.
I wonder. I don't think it still is in effect. I don't think they still use it. If they do, then I'm like, really, guys?
I mean, law
Because
enforcement.
if they do, then shit.
Yeah, I mean, law enforcement is probably trained in all sorts of things. Like, especially if you're. I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming especially if you're part of like a forensic department or a crime lab, you probably are aware of various things, you know. So you're probably aware of stuff like this, but a lot of this is just absolute. There's somewhat good information just mixed in with a whole bunch of bullshit. You know?
Dear lords, I wonder about their sanity.
And
I mean, I know it was the
this,
90s.
Someone probably actually took this guy for his word, like 100%. Like went home with a notepad full of this misinformation, probably spread it around and saw Satanism wherever he went.
Oh man, it's just.
So to quickly change the subject, when did we have game night last?
Let me check. We had it 1 month ago. On August 20th.
Okay, so yeah, so we missed it for September. I thought so.
Well,
but do we want to schedule a next time for a game night?
I don't see why not.
Because I know I'm doing. Do you want to do it after? Do you want to do it after my week, the second week of October?
Sure, sounds good to me.
Okay, cool.
Just so you guys know, a heads up, on the 29th of October, I will not be here.
Okay.
I'll be cleaning up after an anime convention.
Okay. Let me see.
So you guys will have to. That is actually yours.
That's going to be in 4 weeks.
Yeah, so it doesn't land on mine because mine's on the 21st, well, 22nd. So
okay,
it'll be one of your guys' nights.
Cool. So I'll do it on the 8th, and then Dorian on the 15th, and then we'll have the 15th as game night.
Okay.
Yay!
Okay.
Cool. Exciting. And again, if anybody is in the chat who wants to be a guest, let one of us know, and we'll schedule a date for you and get you on the show.
Yeah. We all have the Twitters and the Facebooks and those fun things.
Yep. Yep. Cool.
Okay. And with that, because it's 1 minute to 9, I guess we can start saying our good nights. Because I got to get up at 3 a.m.
Sounds good.
Good night, everybody.
Good
All right.
night.
Blessed
Beware of those Satanists.
Good night.